been quite a few days, maybe even a week since I have worked on this properly. Quite a few things have changed. Put up some counter battening on here, ready for the vertical cladding, which we've tested on here just to see how it comes up. Put like a 5mm spacer between. This is a sawn square edge, so it's never going to be a dead straight line, but I quite like it because it's going to be as natural as possible in the surroundings we're in. So that's done. The windows have been sealed from the inside, so they are now weatherproof. Battens are overshot by the thickness of a batten, just in case we counter batten this side in any direction, which we probably will. But I just wanted to make sure that we had it there in case, because you can't add on after, can you? All the burn stops are done. I think I've mentioned that already though. And the water pipe underneath is, you can't really see it, turn you up, there you go. Water pipe is routed, needs a little bit more, few more brackets, and then we've got some lagging to go on. And we still haven't filled this in, and the pile is disappearing with the rain, which is stupid of us, but it's freezing cold. We've had some bad weather, so I put up the gazebo, and the insulation has been in full swing, so we've cut down the pile a fair bit, but I did buy some more insulation. I found some second-hand locally. So onto the inside, I'm gonna put us on wide angle, put up these festoon lights for now. They're like an outdoor light. We're going to have them outside later, but for now they're there. So in these voids, so remember we had a void behind these two because they're at two different opposing angles. Not opposing angles, but you know what I mean. I drilled some holes and filled this with insulating foam. So this whole pillar is now insulated. The ceiling is fully insulated, so that's 100mm. I was going to put in another bit of insulation in the ceiling, some 40mm, but I think I'll save that because we're going to have 100mm in the walls. I think having 140 in the ceiling would be pointless because the walls are only 100 anyway, so we'll just leave that at that. The floor's done, obviously. We have got a little bit more flooring to go down, and the water inlet is going to be somewhere around here, so the stopcock will be in here somewhere, and then some pipes have got to be run through to where the bottom of the basin is going to sit. And then the boiler for the water is going to be electric, but I'm not too sure where to put it. I want to put it here, but I'm not sure if it has to be slightly higher. But generally speaking, because they're run by water pressure, I think I might be wrong, obviously, but I think if it goes low, it's just going to be better than higher because the pressure hasn't got to go up to the boiler and then back down. So I think I'll try and get it as low as possible. So yeah, windows are in, weatherproofed as far as possible. So they've got silicone down the bottom edge, silicone sort of 4 or 5 inches up on the sides. The head on this one was a bit wonky, so that one has been filled with silicone, and then these battens on the outside have got a squidge of silicone all the way down, and then there's a silicone bead in the corner where the Tyvek joins the batten as well. So I'm hoping that this is going to work. Plus with our overhang up there, hopefully you won't have any issues with water ingress. But it's been here for, these have been in a week, maybe a little bit more, and there's no water in here so far, so I'm quite confident that's going to work. So today, oh yeah, the back wall's been insulated. Insulation's awful, isn't it? It's one of the worst jobs. Look how messy it is. This is just from trimming little bits off to get these to fit. Most of them have fitted perfectly, but there's been the odd few, like there always is, that have little nibs on the back that I've had to pull out. So I've been doing the main cutting out there under the gazebo, and then bringing them in here to fit and trimming any bits. And one of the worst bits about insulation is the dust. And when I was a teenager, I worked for, well, late teens, I worked for a company, like a building firm, and we did a lot of insulation. And I remember never wearing a mask, never wearing goggles, and it was one of the worst things I could have ever done because I was constantly coughing all day, my eyes were itching all day. I was probably coughing for the next 2 days anytime we did some insulation, so I hated it. Anyway, I didn't learn in this one, and I thought, oh, I'll cut the first few of these in the ceiling without a mask, without anything, and yeah, it don't change. It's still as dusty as ever, so definitely get a mask. So I've got a mask here. This is overkill, really. This is actually a spray mask, but you know, the higher the protection, the better, in my opinion. So I've got those, and today, last time I didn't have goggles, which I thought I could get away with, but pushing this last one in here, as it went in, it was so tight, all the dust came out the sides and went in my eyes, and I literally had to walk back to the house with my eyes shut almost, because I couldn't open them. It's so painful. So there's a lesson for me, what a stupid person. Wear goggles and wear a mask with Celotex or whatever insulation you're using, because it is grim, and I reckon in about 20 years time I'll be regretting things like this. So it's probably about time to listen to that thought. So what I'm going to do today is have a tidy up in here. There's insulation for the pipe, which I'll do another day because it's so wet and cold out there. Not that it's going to get any better, but if it gets a bit drier I might get under there. Going to tidy all this up, and I think now I've got the mask and these beautiful all-in-one goggles, I might do the cutting in here, so I haven't got to traipse everything in and out. Cutting out there's a bit of a pain in the bum, and in here it'll be one less walk. And also outside it's getting a little bit muddy because we haven't got, you can't really see, but this is all really sludgy down here because we've got nothing protecting it, and every time I jump off the edge of this decking it just makes it worse and worse. So I'm going to have a tidy up, and then we'll get started on insulating. Hopefully I want to do the rest of it today because insulation's so boring. At least it will get it done. But yeah, you can see it's coming along. I won't bother time-lapsing this insulation because, like I said, it's boring. We'll get to the next step and film that. Insulation is all done. What an effort that was. Made a right old mess, so I'm going to clear that up just like I did before. And I decided that round the perimeter I would put in these little 40mm bats that I cut, mainly because if I didn't, I'll show you, then the bird stops there, no insulation in between the bird stop, which would be a cold area. So that is going to go in there, and then that will obviously hide under the ceiling covering. And then I've got to do some more of them up back. I'm not doing them today because doing all of this was just like really draining and irritating. I hate Celotexing. So we're going to do cladding today. So after I've fixed up the gazebo that has blown into the trench down there, gonna start cladding all this section. Got a wedge in, another batten at the top. I hadn't actually thought about putting a batten in up here, so I'll do that, and then there'll be a support for the top so none of this starts to bend inwards if the sun hits it. There's support at the bottom anyway, so that end's done, and then it'll just be little tricky bits like trimming around the window and then scribing into this area up at the top, and yeah.